Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Refined Savage podcast. This is Arnold Week. So, for all you freak out, musclehead goofballs out there who are traveling to Columbus and you're listening to this on your way in, welcome to Ohio. If you've never been to the Arnold before, you are in for quite a treat. It is a 100% meathead festival. So, bust out that string tank top and that fake bronzer and get ready for some protein farts and wall-to-wall people. Anyhow, let's get to some business before we start the show. Viking Coffee, Evan Armstrong, an Ohio boy himself, up there in Bowling Green, Ohio, making the best coffee in the entire world. Viking Coffee, they do our Old Man Strength blend for the podcast. I highly recommend you checking them out and getting some Old Man Strength. He has a bunch of different flavors. I don't know if they're called flavors, concoctions, brews, whatever. Check them out at vikingcoffeeco.com. Use the code VikingCoffee10 at checkout. Cerberus, you're going to see Cerberus people all over the Arnold Classic this year. Cerberus is sponsoring some of the best athletes in strongman, and they are knee deep in powerlifting and Highland Games as well. Cerberus Strength, if you need tacky, if you need smelling salts, if you need sweet belts, wraps, straps, anything you could possibly want for strongman, powerlifting, Highland Games, Olympic weightlifting, whatever you need, Cerberus has it. Check out Cerberus Strength at cerberus-strength.us. Use the code REFINEDSAVAGE10 at checkout for 10% off. Warrior CBD is a fantastic company. They were started by jiu-jitsu athletes who get beat up and knocked around and pushed around and get aches and pains and everything else. CBD oil is very tricky, folks. If it doesn't have THC in it, you're pretty much using essential oils. So don't fall for that stuff. If you have a job where you can't use CBD oil, I'm sorry about that. But for all of us other people out there who kind of have phony baloney jobs, check out Warrior CBD. WarriorCBDofficial.com. If you have anxiety, if you have aches and pains, if you have trouble sleeping, if you have a freaked out dog, Warrior CBD is the place to go. WarriorCBDofficial.com. Use the code Warrior20 off at checkout for 20% off. Serious Steel. Serious Steel, one of our longtime podcast sponsors, one of our first people we've got on board. They are the best. If you're outfitting any kind of gym, whether it's a home gym or a commercial gym, garage gym, whatever you can imagine, Serious Steel has everything you possibly need for that journey. They have the best bands out there. For the money, they're the cheapest and they're the best. I just love their bands. Their stone sleeves, if you haven't seen these, check out their stone sleeves for you stone lifters out there. My people love them, and they're great if you don't want to be constantly washing tacky on and off yourself. Check them out. SeriousSteel.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. Stay Classy Meats. Stay Classy Meats straight out of Bozeman, Montana. Small batch farms, humanely raised and processed animals. Their meat is the best. If you're going to do a meat diet, you need to have high quality meat, and these guys send it right to your house. Bulk meat shipped right to your house. What more could you ask for? If you're not hunting your own meat, Stay Classy Meats is the way to go. Check them out at stayclassymeats.com. Use the code SAVAGE at checkout for 10% off. Impact Mouth Guards. Impact Mouth Guards. If you are in a sport where you're going to take head trauma, you're not just protecting your teeth. These mouth guards will help protect against traumatic brain injury, which is a big thing nowadays. Not that it wasn't a big thing back in the day, just nobody knew about it. Impact mouth guards are the way to go. They customize and mold the mouth guards for your exact measurements. They are great, and you can get them stylized any way you want. You can check out their website at impactmouthguards.com. Use the code REFINEDSAVAGE at checkout for 15% off. And finally today, the beard struggle. The beard struggle. If you have a big giant beard, you got to keep that thing looking and smelling fresh. You can't have food in there. It has to be nicely groomed. It has to smell nice, or no one's going to want to make out with you. Beard struggle has everything you need, from balms and oils to combs and straighteners. It is the place to go if you have a big giant beard, and check out their Instagram because it is hysterical and I love the memes on there. So check them out at thebeardstruggle.com. Use the code REFINESAVAGE at checkout for 15% off. Today on the show, my brother, Craig Smith, guy I traveled all over North America with, one of my favorite people on the planet. We spent, I can't tell you how many hours on the field, how many hours we spent in beer tents, how many times we spent in crazy restaurants, and stories galore. And Craig was on one time before with Carrie Overfelt when you guys have heard that legendary podcast. Today was just me and Craig hanging out at a McDonald's in some sketchy part of town in the Dayton area. So check this one out. Always great to have Craig on the show. Love him to death. And I hope you enjoy all the things we talked about because it got a little bit in-depth in the sport of Highland games and life in general. So check it out. Share it with your friends, and we'll see you at the end. I didn't even let you get in here before we started this thing up. We just started talking right off the bat.
Yeah, why not?
What are you driving?
Cherokee Trailhawk.
But what is all the stuff on the back of it?
We got that for mountain biking.
Yeah, is
man.
Kara into this too?
Yeah.
Pull this thing up like right next to your hood there,
Super
so
higher?
you can get it higher in case.
Technical difficulties
I'm
already.
trying to get these microphones down pat, so we're trying.
You don't do everything off. This is just your.
This is brand new.
Mobile unit.
This is brand new because we went back to listen to the old podcasts and they sounded better with these mics.
Oh, no shit.
Than
the big ones? No shit.
Who knows? I don't know. This is me and Pat Bay trying to figure out meathead shit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work out great, but
yeah.
So are you and Kara both mountain biking now?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, that's the. Well, I'm recovering from my slew of normal.
You have mountain biking injuries?
Yeah, I didn't tell you any of this.
No.
Oh my god.
I haven't talked to you in forever.
Yeah. See, and people are gonna be like, why are you guys jumping right into shit?
Right.
Yeah. I was at Snowshoe in West Virginia, downhill mountain biking.
What does that entail? Is it just
so-
like getting after it, just
Yeah,
full speed?
because it's you take the lifts up just like you would for skiing, but you take your bikes and then you fucking hit the mountain bike trails.
How fast are you going?
Fastest about 40 miles an hour if you really get moving, and it's terrifying.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And you're fully helmeted up.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything?
oh yeah. So we were down there. It was closing weekend for Snowshoe, and Garth, a buddy of mine, and I went down there, and we rode all day Saturday, and camped down there, riding Sunday, and just pretty much wrecked. Like, should have known better.
Right.
Just fucking tired, But we were last trail of the day, going down, and it's this not a big drop, but a drop, and I kind of got offline, so I went to. I knew I was going to go down, which is not a big. I mean, if you mountain bike, you wreck.
Right.
Is what it is. But I reached out and grabbed a hold of this little tree just to jerk myself off the bike. Arm went straight, ruptured bicep tendon.
Oh.
Yeah. So
you have to get it repaired?
Yeah. So it rolled up in there and everything. Like, I went to obviously let go of the tree, went down, still fucking crashed on the rocks and shit. And my buddy's like, "You good?" And I was like,
"No."
Tore bicep tendon. He's like, "Shut the fuck up." And I was like, "No, really, it's."
And you could see it all rolled up in there?
No, I had a jersey on and everything, so I didn't. So, kind of made our way down to the bottom, took the lift back up to the top, got to the bathroom up there, pulled the jersey and the elbow pads off, and it was just rolled up damn near into my shoulder. And I was like, well, that's it. We're heading home for the day. So went
when
to
did you have surgery?
5 days later. So that was Sunday. Saw the doc on Monday, and he's like, let's fix it Friday. So had it fixed Friday. So that was in October. That was October 17th, something like that.
Yeah.
So I was in a brace for 4 or 5 weeks, and I wasn't getting, as soon as I came out of the brace, I wasn't getting my supination back at all.
Right.
My pronation and supination just wasn't at all.
Yeah.
Like, it was 90 degrees and I couldn't turn it anymore. So we go in and we start to, we're dealing with that, just thinking, oh, it's weak, you haven't used it in so long. And we end up doing x-rays on that. And what had happened there was it's heterotropic ossification or radioulnar synostosis. Basically what happened was a bone grew between my radius and my ulna in that time frame, in that 2 months post-surgery. Wow. That prevent, those bones roll over each other to supinate and pronate. Bone bridge there, which is why I couldn't move it. So I had surgery again 3 weeks ago, where they cut the bone out.
Was that like another brace or anything? Or
I was in a brace for basically a couple days on that. But yeah, so I had two big cuts from the bicep repair, and then another big cut where they had to go in and chop the bone. And you like look at the X-rays, like you can see like where half moons are cut out of the bone.
How does that happen? How does a bone just grow in there?
Bad luck.
Wow.
Bad luck, yeah. And part of it is, so they give people post-bicep surgery indomethacin, which is just an anti-inflammatory, and for whatever reason that helps with that.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Right.
They didn't really tell me that. They had contacted my cardiologist.
That's right, because we're dealing with that, too.
Yeah, that's another story if you want.
Right, yeah, we need to talk about that, too.
My cardiologist apparently said no to taking that medication, so I didn't take that medication.
Right.
So the chances of that happening are like exponentially higher when you don't take that shit.
Right.
So maybe that was part of it, maybe not. You know, who knows? I am taking it now.
Yeah.
For the next couple weeks.
So, yeah. Wow. So nothing has changed. You just switched sports.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a sport where I don't get hurt, and it's going to be awesome. And yeah, no, I was still fucking.
And Kara's doing this too. She's in.
Yeah, she hasn't gone to the downhill parks with me,
right.
So she does like local, you know.
We're thinking about getting bikes this year.
Dude,
we want to do it.
Do it.
We've been thinking about it for 2 years. And you know how I am and we are.
Yeah.
Once you get into it, you know, I'm thinking, we'll just go to get like Target and get.
So
no,
that's exactly how we started out, and exactly how everybody starts out. And it went from like there to like, I'm gonna buy a hardtail bike, and I spent $1,000 on that, and then you ride that for a couple weeks, and it's like, well, shit, I need a full suspension bike. I mean, be prepared.
Well, Erin has she's the same way. She got into road bike racing. When she was in Milwaukee, and she's got like a $3,000 bike hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, my mountain bike's a $3,000 plus mountain bike.
So I'm thinking, it's probably, I'm guessing the technology in the last decade has changed.
Totally different,
But maybe we could get $500 out of it towards the new bike or something.
Yeah, and start to put it, dude, you guys got to. And I'm telling you, going to the bike parks is it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Because it's just all gravity. You're just fucking fast as you can go. And it's not like you have to. You don't have to be crazy. There's all different levels of trails, and there's plenty of shit that so this was, 19 was basically my first year riding, and we did bike park 4 times, Seven Springs in Pennsylvania 3 times. And
I've been to Seven Springs,
and Snowshoe once.
Okay.
And there was plenty of stuff there that I was like, yeah, no way.
Do they have them up in Cleveland, like Brandywine or anything? Nothing like that?
No, there's none. There's plenty of trails, though.
Yeah.
But actual bike parks are Snowshoe, Seven Springs is the closest. There's one in Maryland, Windrock in Tennessee. Yeah. And those are all shuttle up and gravity down kind of shit. So. Yeah. But then we do a ton of local riding, single track stuff. And
that's
stuff
what we thought.
Everywhere.
I'm gonna do one of the reasons I definitely want to get a bike this year is I'm going to do a biathlon.
Oh, nice.
In Vermilion. So you can do the triathlon or the biathlon, and I was going to do the triathlon, and it's a short one. So it's like, I think it's like a 400-yard swim and like a 3-mile run and a 10-mile bike.
Yeah.
So I was going to do it, but I went out and did a swim workout last summer, and I was going to our pool at the condo to do it because there was nobody in there because everyone in my condo is 100 years old.
Right.
So I was going to do a workout. It was closed because they were cleaning it. So I said, well, I'll just go down to the lake, not thinking. I played in that lake all the time when I was a kid.
Sure.
Got in there, did about a half-hour workout where I was like swimming out. I would dive down, grab a rock, walk it back in and go out. I got sicker than I've ever been in my life.
Did you really?
Because of the algae blooms in the lake. I never even thought about it, I was like hacking up a lung and, congestion and everything.
Shit you're laying in there.
So we went to our condo board because they're all baby boomers, so they're worried about how the lawn looks. They're just dumping chemicals on this lawn, and it's all getting washed into this little creek and then getting shot right out in the lake. And I'm like, we got to stop doing this. They're like, fuck you, we don't care. They could care less.
It looks pretty, so we're going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the reason I'm not doing the triathlon. I'll just do the bike and the swim. So it's like a 2-mile run, 10-mile bike, 2-mile run.
That's not bad at all.
So I'll do that. Should be fun. But
what are you weighing right now?
I am at 209.
209.
I got down to 206 right before vacation.
The lowest?
And but I'm not like trying anymore. It's just whatever I sit at.
You track food or no?
No. So
No.
I eat once a day.
Okay. You do one meal a day.
Yep. It's a huge meal.
Sure.
Huge, but
Typical day. What is it? What are you eating?
so let's say last night we're gonna fucking go through the roof. So last night I got home about 6 o'clock from the gym. I had so I love brunchwagger. You know what that is? It's it's almost like haggis. It's like liver.
Just all crammed
organ.
together, everything crammed together.
Right. So it's like a little appetizer. So I had like a couple slices of that while I'm cooking. I cooked up a 20-ounce steak, 9 eggs with cheese and ham cut up in it, and then like a big bowl of cottage cheese. And that was
that was 2,500 calories a day, and just hanging out there.
The thing about it is I feel great throughout the day. Like right now, I mean, I don't feel bloated. I don't feel there's nothing in my stomach. I'm just rolling. I'm working out on it, and I had to get used to it a little bit.
Well, dude, we had 20 years of stuff in our fucking face,
and I think that's a lot of it is you just feel like you should be eating.
Yeah.
And I just
that's what we did. When we were bored, when we did it, watch TV. Well, we better eat. We're sitting around.
We're in a restaurant like this without food.
No, we'd have quarter pounders stacked up right here doing this.
What are you down to?
54 this week.
Okay.
I hang out. I was 65 after surgery, and just body comp was just shit. Obviously, not doing anything for 4 months. So I'm just now starting to.
But you got way down low before.
I've been in the 40. 40 about mid 40s is about mid 40s, and then I start. I'm so lean at mid 40s that I'm peeling off too much muscle. So I kind of hang out there. I'd like to be 45 for bike season when that comes around.
And that's a solid weight. That's athletic because you're what 6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah.
So that's super athletic.
Yeah, and we feel small, but that's just because we were so fucking fat for so long.
I just wanted to get. I was tired of being big.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be able to move. I wanted to be able to swim. I wanted to be able to hike. Aaron wants to go hiking. I got to be able to do that shit. Yep. I just can't be like, no, fuck it. I just want to sit around all day. And once I started losing the weight, then I started wanting to do shit, so it was nice. So the two of us have made huge inroads into getting leaner. What the fuck is up with Kerry? I think he's fatter than when we threw.
I don't know why he stays fat. It's disappointing, to be honest. But there's a lot of if we could go back, 20, 25 years when we started throwing, would you have gotten as fat as you got?
No, and
neither would I. Yeah. I mean, that was just, us walking around at 300 plus all the time was, not healthy.
Ryan told everybody you had to be that big.
Well, and why would you not listen to him? He was as good as it gets.
Yeah. And there was no way Ryan wanted to lose that weight.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know why Kerry stays fat, mate.
He's trained all these bodybuilders, and Mel's doing bodybuilding shows. He just keeps eating.
Yeah,
keeps eating.
I've tried to get him on it because, we were talking last year when we were, I think in Wisconsin or whatever, and I was like, man, I was 295 and I calipered out at a decent percentage, but I was fucking fat, man. He's like, no, you weren't. Like, yeah, I was. We all were. It was terrible.
I look at old pictures, even when I dropped the weight originally from throwing. And you could start to see my abs and stuff. And I was still super fat. My waist was super thick, and I had a big bloated belly.
Yeah. And what I think, and everybody seems to think this. Everybody seems to think I'm a big, strong guy at 300, so I'm going to be shredded at 270.
Yeah.
And no, that's just not the fucking case. I mean, it took me into the 50s before I caliper at a decent percentage and walk around at sub 10 all the time.
8% was I don't know what I'm at now, but that last time I got it checked, and I was probably 10 pounds heavier than I am now. I got it checked and I was at 8%.
Great.
So,
and how do you check?
So I had this lady who's a Poliquin coach. Name's Adrienne Smith. She's awesome, especially for injuries and shit.
Very cool.
And she just wanted to see where I was at and everything, so she did calipers all over my body.
Yep.
And calculated it out, and I think she was legitimately interested in work, because I've been doing carnivore now for over a year.
Have you really?
Yeah, and it's been great, man. I feel so great. Why did I go to it, or why do I feel great?
Not why do you feel great? I mean, I'm sure you feel great because you fucking feel great, but why is that the choice of?
So I would eat So I've been keto since
Right.
2012
Sure.
or whatever. I was still having problems being super bloated. Like, I always felt bloated.
Okay.
Afterwards, I'd have stomach issues, and everything. So
Even with no carbs.
even with no carbs.
Okay.
And so I was. I remember there was one time where it was like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I so bloated? Why am I having problems? And I just happened to see a podcast with it was Rogan's podcast with Jordan Peterson talking about it.
Yep.
So I said, I'll try this and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And within 3 days, I felt fantastic. Like,
Really?
no bloating. I don't get bloated anymore unless, because every once in a while we'll go out to dinner and the steak won't be big enough. There'll be asparagus on the plate or
Right,
something, and I'll
right.
eat that. And automatically, not so much with the asparagus, but maybe if it's like broccoli or something.
Yeah, it's like a higher gassy vegetable
Yep.
type.
I'll feel
what do
like
they
shit
say?
right
FODMAP
away.
stuff or whatever they.
But if I eat vegetables regularly for a long period of time, it'll come right back again. So I don't know. I don't get it.
I find that it's very vegetable dependent for me too. Like if I'm broccoli and cauliflower and that kind of
Right,
stuff, I'll
right.
be gassy and
Yeah.
But if I stay like, I do a lot of like zucchini and squash and
Right,
that kind of
yep.
stuff. No issues with that ever.
Yeah, I probably have to find ones like asparagus that don't fuck with me. Adrian was saying that vegetables have a inborn defense mechanism that doesn't go away when you cut them. So if you kill an animal, they obviously can't defend themselves anymore.
Right.
When you eat a vegetable, even days after you've cut it, they still have these toxins that they'll release into your body. So it's basically like, and Pavel Tsatsouline said the same thing, that you're basically dealing with small amounts of poison that you just get used to as you get used to them. You just from eating them. I don't know how true that is. But that's the second
I don't
person
know
I've
enough.
heard say it.
I don't know enough to dispute that.
But it would make sense why we feel like shit and are bloated from certain vegetables,
Sure.
And
Interesting.
I'm reading things about, Neanderthals and how guys with European descent, come from these Neanderthals who were doing nothing but following the herds across tundra. The
Sure.
only time they ate vegetables is when the snow thawed, which was another thing she talked about, was only eating vegetables that are in season.
That's
Instead of
probably
going
just
to-
generally good advice
Right.
on something like that. I could see
Eating
that.
strawberries from Aldi's in the middle of winter doesn't make sense.
Right.
But yeah, that's so we were talking earlier about your cardiologist.
Oh yeah.
Tell me that story. I don't
You
think
want
we've
that
ever
story?
sat down
No.
and talked about that.
No, we
story.
haven't
What I tell you
since
what.
then.
First of all, that was the most fucked up phone call I've ever got, because we don't
Who
call
called
each-
you, Carrie?
Carrie called
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So Carrie never calls me. I never call you.
Right.
It's stupid.
No.
Why do you call me?
No. Yeah.
So the phone's ringing and it's Carrie. I automatically know somebody's dead.
Right.
That's the only reason he would have called
Sure.
me.
Why else?
And I pick up the phone, and that's the first thing he said. Not hello. And he said, Craig had a heart attack. I was like, oh, fuck. What's going on? So go ahead and tell that
So
story.
this was September of 17. I'm at the gym. I'm out at Eaton Barbell. And we're doing a press workout, me and my buddy Shane, my training partner at the time. And had a fantastic workout. I mean, everything went awesome. Just finished up and was like, let's stretch a little bit kind of deal and just cool down. And sat down on the bench and just started getting nauseous and really sweaty. I was like, whew, I might throw up kind of deal. And he's like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Let me throw up and we'll be back at it. Nothing uncommon for us kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it just didn't go away. A couple minutes later, like I'm laying on the bench and fucking just sweating to death. And
But are you having like chest pains or anything?
not really,
Okay.
no. A couple more minutes go by and I lay on the floor and chest is getting kind of tight, but it's not like pain. Again, like we're so used to just being in pain that, and apparently he said I was pretty gray at the time. So I was like, yeah, why don't you go ahead and call somebody?
Yeah.
Because this isn't, it had probably been, who knows what it, actually 5 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And so he called and the squad came out and they were like, yeah, you're having a heart attack.
Wow.
And I was like, all right. And I mean, I'm not in real pain. I'm conscious through the whole thing. It's not a big deal. They put me in the ambulance. Couldn't give me nitro because my blood pressure was dropping it was like, I want to say like 70 over 40, 30, something like that. Like it was real low.
Yeah.
So they gave me a bunch of aspirin. Took me to the local like medical center that they had just built 3 months before. Luckily,
yeah.
And I get in there, and doc's like, yeah, you're having a heart attack, and I'm like, okay, and they're like, what hospital do you want to go to? And I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you tell me where to go, kind of deal. So they bring the helicopter in, helicopter me to Reed in Indiana, because that's the closest hospital at the time. And in this time, I called Kara and told her, I was like, I'll be fine. Eat your dinner, kind of deal. And she still gets mad about that, but I was like,
did you say I'm having a heart attack?
Yeah,
Go ahead and eat your dinner.
Yeah, I'm at the medical place having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Eat your dinner, dude. Yeah. I'll be good. So they fly me helicopter to Reed, right from the helicopter straight into the cath lab. Then they go femoral, like angioplasty, and as soon as they opened that vein up, I felt fantastic. Like I could have jumped off the table and walked home.
No shit.
Like
so you're awake while they're doing this?
Whole time.
Wow.
Talking, he's asking me questions, like I'm watching the monitors as they're doing it. If I'd have known what I was looking at, kind of deal. I mean, through the whole thing. So that was my right artery on that one, and it was 100% blocked.
Wow.
So they cleared that up, put a stent in there, and then they kept me, that was a Monday, they kept me in the hospital, and then on Tuesday, because they had done all the scans and all that, and my left was like 75-80% blocked, and they were kind of on the fence about that one, and I was like, I'm here, man. Let's do it. Let's get it done. So I stayed overnight Tuesday. Wednesday they woke up and went radially and put another stent in the left. And then I left Wednesday afternoon and went back to the gym and picked my truck up and went home.
Wow. So what's the recovery like that for
I felt like shit for about 2 months.
Like no energy?
Yeah. I just felt, and I kind of felt like it was too long. And when I had gone back to the cardiologist, I was like, I just don't feel good. And he's like, well, you had a heart attack. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that's normal kind of shit. But I mean, I was back in the gym 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
But it was about 8 weeks before I felt good, felt normal. Yeah. I mean, just general like blah, feeling like shit kind of thing is the way that felt. Yeah. So it was.
And did you say your mother had some kind of heart issue too? Didn't you say?
My mom's side of the family. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they had told us that was about that. So I got home on a Wednesday. And Thursday I had the bill from the helicopter ride. $20,000, 6-minute helicopter ride.
Wow.
But obviously we didn't pay it.
Right.
It all went through insurance and all that.
Oh,
but they told,
Jesus.
so they had told Kara.
$20,000.
They had told Kara when she got to the hospital, which was pretty close to about the time I got there, give or take. The ambulance ride was 6 minutes longer than the helicopter ride. And they said if they'd have put me in the ambulance, I wouldn't have made it.
No shit.
Yeah, that's how close it is. So it was a close one.
Wow.
It was, 5 minutes from death.
So when they tell you you're having a heart attack, what goes through your brain? I know, we're supposed to be like, oh, okay, whatever. But, I mean,
honestly,
that's got to be pretty fucking shocking.
It is, but you've known me for so long. I mean, I was literally like, well, it was going to happen sometime kind of deal. Like,
I joke about it with Aaron all the time.
You don't play like we played. And everything has a cost kind of deal. Yeah. And so it was, did I expect it at 41 in the middle of a sweet workout? Yeah. No, I didn't. I can say I was surprised there. But yeah, like even, like it was funny because you get all the people coming in to check on you in your hospital, the nutritionist and the, psychologist and I'm like, I'm good.
I'm good. We've been down roads like this before.
Well, everybody gets mental health meds I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I get it. I almost died. It's close. Well, I'm fine. It's, I just didn't think it was, everybody around me thought it was a bigger deal than I did. I mean, honestly, like.
And does it affect you now at all?
No.
No? Checkups and everything?
Yeah, I do the cardiologist once or twice a year. We do an EKG once or twice a year, or maybe every other year for that. And then take a bunch of meds.
Yeah, right. For what? Like statins and shit?
Yeah, well, I take what's funny too is like, so
statins
again,
fuck me up. They like really bad. I had really bad reaction. Yeah.
So I had because again, nothing we do is free. I knew this. I knew something. So I had done a CT scan for calcium for plaque, in January of 17, and it came back at 0 because the doc had been trying to push the statin on me for a long time. Cholesterol's been high for a long time. And
What's high?
My total was 300-ish.
Okay.
LDL was the high 180s, 90s, 200. Triglycerides that high. HDL really low, obviously.
Yeah. See, mine's between usually between 250 and 300. My triglycerides are super low though.
Are they? What's your LDL?
I don't remember.
You know?
I got to go. Matter of fact, I got to go next month and get it done
Good
again.
one.
I'm trying to get it done twice a year.
Yeah, I think that's smart. But that had come back as 0, showing I had no calcium buildup, and I was like, well, sweet. Then I'm gonna go ahead. So I put off taking the statin for what I would consider at this point too long, based on what happened. But I did start taking it in April, I think, of 17. But then I ended up having a heart attack in September of 17.
Yeah.
Anyways, so now I take an aspirin every morning now.
I should get back on that. I've been told it's not a it's not a big deal to take that, but I probably should be taking them again.
I think from what I understand, there's conflicting research on whether everybody should just go ahead and do that or not.
Right.
How much detriment there would be to that.
Well, Erin thinks I'm dying continuously.
Sure.
She thought I was dying when I proposed to her.
Yeah.
I was at Mallory Square, went down to one knee. She immediately was going to call for an ambulance. She thought I was dying.
To be fair, you are.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yes. Right.
So.
Yeah. And at the time, I was 312 pounds, so I pretty much was dying. I had purple calves, and
But no, I take that. I take beta blocker. I take a statin.
Yeah.
And blood pressure.
Medicine
right now.
See, was your blood pressure fucked up before?
My blood pressure was always probably borderline high-ish.
Okay.
130s, 140s over, 100-ish kind of deal.
When I was huge, it was borderline. Now it's almost low.
You're good now?
Yeah. So
I take mine every morning now. I mean, like I was 106 over 65 this morning.
Doesn't mess with your boners or anything?
No.
See, that's what I get old guys coming to the gym. They're always like messing with my boners, and I said, well, let's get you healthy and get you off that,
And I get my statin now, like I just take 20 milligrams of Lipitor every day is all I'm down to now, because my numbers are so good now.
Yeah.
Good idea. So we'll keep taking the meds that the doc say, kind of deal.
Especially if they're not screwing with you. I had some bad.
So what was your issue with the statin?
Muscle tearing.
Really?
Muscle weakness.
So my mom gets that. So it took her probably 3 or 4 switches before she got one that was reasonable.
I started taking it, and within a month, I had torn my hamstring, and then I kept taking it. I tore it in March. I tore it in April. I tore it again in May, and then I tore it again at the end of June.
All rolling?
Twice rolling. Once slipping on some wet pavement and chasing a cat. And finally, when I thought it was all healed up and I felt great, lifting a stone at the Ohio Scottish Games. And you could actually hear it on the Instagram video. Bah!
God.
Yeah, so I just decided to lose a ton of weight and see where that goes. So we'll see. But
so your cholesterol numbers though are still like docs,
I don't know.
Docs still want you to take it probably if they're high, kind of
see
deal.
Where they're at.
That's my only, not concern necessarily of carnivore stuff, but I wonder about that because you're high saturated fat kind of deal and that kind of stuff. So I wonder how that.
Well, so the last time I got him checked, it was just under 300, and I had been carnivore for about 4 months.
Okay.
So there wasn't much of a difference.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see where it's at. And,
so what if you come back really high? What will you do?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know what really high is, but my father's had a heart attack when he was late 50, mid 60s. But to my father, you've seen my dad. He's not a fitness guy.
Right.
He looks like Tony Soprano.
Right.
So, that's where I'm at in my head, where I think about it. But,
I think for us, we expect it to happen when we're big and huge and walking around. But in my case, like It was 250 at the time. It wasn't,
which sounds big and huge to some people,
right? But it's not to us. Now it's like, why are you so small? Like, but from a health standpoint, obviously I'd push you to fucking take it so you don't die and have
key,
what I had.
The key is, I think, and we talked about carry as a joke, but I think it's important that as soon as you're done doing this shit, you get it off and try to get as healthy
Without
as
a doubt.
possible.
Without a doubt.
You just spent so many years, But
and it's so simple, and there's just no reason to walk around that way.
It really is. It's simple, especially if you're an athlete and you're used to training.
Yes.
You can get that weight off you.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to a guy online. I do online programming for people. Mm-hmm. And it's more like, it's not even online coaching or programming. I put out templates for what you want to do. So if you want to throw, if you want to do strongman, if you want to do like more of a bodybuilding, I have a foundations one, you can get on that. People jump off my strongman one because there's cardio in it. Like,
really?
Look, you do not need... saying you're a strongman is not an excuse to be 400 pounds. Just because Thor's 400 pounds, he's 6'9".
At 6'9", yeah.
You're 5'9". There's no reason that you need to be fat, And because Thor's not fat, he's got abs, I mean...
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's certainly not...
He's not super fat.
If he was going to be he would be 700 pounds if there was the same ratios.
Yes.
So, but people will jump off. They just don't want to be healthy,
And for the effort that it takes for that,
it's limited.
Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. I mean, my God. Again, the list of things that if we could go back.
Yeah. 260 would have been as big
redo.
as I got. And I think we would have been fine.
I completely agree. I probably would have changed training a little bit. I certainly would have done cardio. I mean, I'd have made a bunch of changes. Would we have thrown any further?
How would have you changed training? Because you were a once-a-week guy, maybe twice-a-week guy for the majority of the career that I knew you.
Yeah, well, the majority of my training was that way and was solely for strength. I didn't care about anything else. I think I would put in a lot more, I guess people would call them accessory type stuff or bodybuilding type stuff. I'd just add more stuff in that I didn't do. And maybe that contributed to all the injuries that I had too. Maybe
Hard
not.
To say. Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm convinced that it doesn't really matter what training style you have, as long as you're doing something consistently. Like, I don't care if you're in there doing a 100% bodybuilding workout or 100% powerlifting workout. The results are probably going to be pretty similar, given certain things being the same. Like I think we could have trained. I could have taken your training, you could have taken mine, and we'd have ended up with all the same shit, I think.
So I did a speech at Ashland it was December, and all these young strength coaches. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to be just about strongman training for youth athletes. Mm-hmm. And I had to kind of switch gears in the middle because I'm looking at these kids and I'm like, okay, what would I have wanted to know 20 years ago?
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, look, everything works. Everything works. 531 works. West Side works. Brandon Lilly's cube works. It all works. Everything I tell you is going to work. Everything Judd tells you. Derek Witzke's in the back. Whatever Witzke tells you, it's all going to work.
Yep.
It's whatever's going to get you out of bed in the morning and get you training, what you like to do.
What gets you there consistently for years on years on years.
And we spend so much time trying to figure out what's the best way to train.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Lift heavy for a decade and a half, and you'll be fine.
That's pretty much it.
Yep.
That's really all there is to it. Like, there's nothing fancy. There's nothing magical. There's no magic exercise that's going to make you turn a caber or go do something.
Yeah, and be an athlete.
That's it.
You got to be an athlete. I always laugh because I'll get messages every once in a while from some power lifter who's good or a strongman who's good, and they want to jump over to Highland Games. I'm like, just be prepared.
Yeah.
To have
a whole different ball game.
Because you better learn how to move, and and some of these guys will come in and learn and know how to move, and they'll be fine. But that's why we lose shot putters too, because shot putters will come in and they'll be awesome shot putters. Oh, I got to learn how to throw a caber.
Then the rest of the day is out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's tough for people to learn. So you always did twice. What are you doing now? You always did twice a week, maybe?
I usually do every day. I usually do something every day. Obviously, this injury has put me out. But, so 2019, my goal was to do something every day.
Yeah.
So I made it 291 days before I got hurt or had surgery,
I did the same thing. I made it 116 and I got sick.
Did you?
I got sick Saturday. Was
Oh, you're kidding.
Yep, I made it.
Yeah.
So I worked out. I felt like shit afterwards. I was like, and then I just started yesterday.
I did
again.
291, which made it to the middle of October, and then I worked out the morning of surgery. I worked out at 5 a.m. with plans, and the surgery was on a Friday, so I worked out at 5 a.m. Friday with plans to go and work out on Saturday, and the anesthesia just wrecks me. And I just couldn't.
What are you doing though? Like, are you just straight lifting? Or are you doing?
So my everyday thing was just do something every day. That could have been as simple as rowing, biking, walking.
I count jiu-jitsu in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So usually 4 or 5 days of lifting. It's probably more bodybuilding type lifting than anything else. I don't really do anything heavy anymore. We'll go in and maybe pull 400 or 500. We might squat 315, 405 for some reps. Kind of like I just don't. It's still there if I wanted it to be, but. Why? The risk versus reward stuff there.
I'm almost in the same boat, so I'm trying to do something every single day, probably 5 days a week lifting, 3 jiu-jitsu classes in there too. I'm swinging kettlebells and doing calisthenics.
Love it.
So like I'll swing a kettlebell, either one arm or two arm, do some dips back and forth, and then once a week I either squat or deadlift, moderately heavy. So like you said, 400 or 500 pounds, and then I call it a day. And it's always there. I think I could pull 600 within a couple weeks, but I'm not going to do that.
But why?
I don't care. Right.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and we did most of last year because we started riding bikes. So we would go at lunch during work. There's an indoor bike park like 2 minutes from work, and we'd go ride indoor bike park. So I'd get that session in, and then I'd go to the gym afterwards, and then sometimes we'd go ride the trails out. So I mean, there were lots of days where I was 2 or 3 times a day of activity.
Especially during the summer when you can get out and do shit. Like Aaron will come home from work and want to run. I'm like, let's go. Let's get it.
And it's just being outside and doing something, and I like that, and I'm excited to get back to. Because it was 4 months where I couldn't do any. I went in the gym and I did legs once or twice a week for the last 4 months. But
because your arm.
That's all I could do because I couldn't move my arm at all.
You're used to dealing with that, though.
Yeah, but every time I get a little bit older and it gets a little bit shittier, and it's when I used to have surgery and it'd be all right. We're back in there and we're banging away, and now it's like, oh man, again, this sucks kind of deal. So
I found, and you've got a guy down here, Ryan Fanley, who I'm going to get you in touch with.
Okay.
Adrian's the girl I have up there. Fanley does the same stuff that Adrian does, and he is fantastic.
Oh, yeah?
If you have an injury, the guy's awesome.
Really? All right. Awesome.
And he understands us, and he gets it. I'll get you in touch with him. You're probably 45 minutes from him.
Okay.
And he's awesome. I went down to the podcast with him, and he's good. So are you following Highland games at all anymore?
No, very rarely.
The IHGF is just cutting it up. I mean, they are really pushing the whole drug testing issue.
So who sent me? Gillingham had sent me a text recently and had something to do with that, I think.
Yeah, they want to. They're always trying to get more and more games under their umbrella. But they had made a comment about so I think it's the Queen Mary games. It's now jumped on as a drug-tested game.
Oh, you're kidding.
And what they want to do is they talked about going back, and if they found that a record holder had been taking drugs, making him relinquish the record and give back the money. Like, what power do you have to do that?
Yeah, you can have the record because it means shit.
It means nothing.
Like, oh my.
But it I think, and I think it's aimed at a certain pro who, as far as I know, has never tested positive for any drugs, but is still being hounded because they think he's on drugs.
Well, so what? They thought we were all on drugs, too.
I think they were on drugs.
I'm sure they were. And, I had this conversation not too long ago with somebody. Like, usually the people who are calling out other people for that are the people that are doing shit more than anything.
I just remember one of the gentlemen from the IHGF being 5'10", 310 pounds with ripped abdominal
He
muscles.
was a monster. Yes.
Yeah, and you and I both know that it doesn't work that way.
It does not work that way.
Yeah, and we all saw this coming. We saw it coming years ago. And I have such a hard time with governing bodies of any kind because it's always a money grab for
Of
these
course
guys.
it is. That's exactly what it is.
It's guys who don't want to get real jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking to make money off the sport, whether it's strongman or
Yeah.
Highland Games or powerlifting. They just don't want to get real jobs, so they try to go for the money grab.
And the thing, I don't know who you're talking about. Spencer, is that?
I think that's
Yeah.
When I see this, it looks like it's aimed at Spencer because they're saying, if you set a record, we're going to take that record back and the money back.
I've heard his name and I've heard one other name.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And
Don't do those games. Who
know-
gives a shit?
Exactly. Don't do those games.
Yeah, it's so they don't run all the. They got your choice of games. Oh no, you don't get to go to Queen Mary and make $500.
Yep.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. It's. So I remember one guy. Remember when Sam tested
Sam.
grammar?
Yes. Yeah.
And he tested. He told me, I don't care. When he texted me or called me, I can't remember which.
Yeah.
But he was explaining that him and Kate were trying to get pregnant, and he was on a testosterone booster.
Yeah.
I could care less.
I think it
And
was.
told him that.
It was Clomid, if I remember right.
So it's that like an estrogen blocker?
Yeah, and they use it for like fertility in women and stuff like
Okay.
that. And but like if I remember right, talking to Kate, but God, that's been
Years.
15 years ago.
Way
Yeah,
before the
kind of.
IHGF.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he texted me and told me this, and I said, it was probably called because texting wasn't
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
And I said, Sam, I don't care.
Who
I
gives
don't
a
care
shit?
if you're on drugs. I don't care if you're off drugs.
Yeah.
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me at all. And he ended up throwing at a couple games because he tested, I think, in Scotland.
Overseas.
Came back here to the States, and some of the
No one cares.
Yeah, they're like, okay, go ahead, throw.
Yeah.
And it's you're in a strength sport.
Yes, you're an adult male.
Nobody makes these distinctions about strongman
No.
or even powerlifting.
No.
If you want to have a drug tested league, start your own league, but
Sure.
it's not professional Highland Games.
No, it's not. And every game is still an independent
Yes.
entity. This is not there. There's no governing body. There's no league. There's no go where you want to go. And if game drug tests and you don't like it, don't go.
Right. Yeah.
That's fucking easy. It ain't that much money, anyways.
I mean, are you going to go back and drug test get Ben Plucknitz or Jim McGoldrick's because we have world records going back forever.
Yeah.
I don't. Ryan Beer, when he was setting world records, that was right in the middle of the Balcos scare. So we don't know if he was clean or not. Because obviously all these guys
Have no idea.
were doing that.
Who
stuff.
would know?
Nobody would know, and nobody knows if Spencer's on anything.
No.
And it's so to me it's so obvious that this is a money grab for them and trying to get all these games under their umbrella.
I can't imagine that any game in their right mind without, it must be lack of due diligence to pay them money to run a game.
We told Jane that.
That's
we told Jane that at
bananas
Celtic
to me.
Classic.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that. You don't need it. You're the Celtic Classic.
Yeah.
You do
what
not
a
need
tremendous
IHGF.
waste of money for a game to do that.
I'll give you an example. 2016, you were the judge. We ran the Women's World Championships.
Yes.
You know why it was the Women's World Championships? Because all the best women showed up, and I paid them money.
Yeah. You paid them. You said that's what it was called.
Yep.
And that's what it was.
And Jessica Breidenthal is the 2016 Women's World Champion.
There you go.
And we always said that was what made the World
It
Championships.
is what makes it. And that's what always made Celtic the biggest game.
Yes.
And that's what, it was up to us to decide and again, it was always decided by money.
Yeah.
But,
because if somebody would have came along, as much as I love Jane, if someone would have came along down the street and said, we're going to pay you double what the Celtic Classic does, I would have had to have gone because it was our job.
Yeah, in a second we'd have done that.
Yeah. I remember the one year, wasn't the Worlds the same weekend as Celtic? It was at like Loon or something?
They're close. That could have been.
And a bunch of guys still came to the Celtic because the money was better.
Yeah, why would you not? I mean, I guess, people get wrapped up in titles and records, and none of that means anything in Highland Games.
Nope.
I mean, we're the entertainers on the field. We always were, and that was our job, and we got paid for making people watch us.
Yeah.
Hey, if we threw something far, that was cool too, and we got paid for it. That was cool, but let's not pretend it's something that it's not.
And whether it's the drug testing or whether it's something else, the marks have dropped significantly over the last 6 years. They've dropped. I mean, Celtic Classic, when I look at those marks, there's a picture of us that I posted on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and it was like me, you, Carrie, Larry Brock, Sean Betts, Eric Frazier, Pekoski, and we're all sitting there, and I wrote in a thing, at this time, my PRs in the weights were 86 and 44, and 106 and 128 in the hammers, and I was the worst guy on the field.
Yep.
The worst guy on the field. And those marks would smash the vast majority of the people at the Celtic Classic.
And I can't imagine, and I don't want to think it's the drug testing thing. Like, I think they're just a less talented class, or less talented. It's not as deep as it was then. I mean, I think when we were throwing then, that was about as deep as it got. I mean, you had 15, maybe even a couple more guys that could win any game at any time, kind of deal. And I don't think you have that now.
Yeah. Do you remember that one Ohio games when we did the weight throw?
That was crazy.
I threw 40 and 80 and was second to last.
I threw, God, if I remember right, I want to say I threw like 44 and 86.
Yep.
And was like sixth.
Yep.
And I mean, Larry threw the light hammer that day like 139 too. Like,
and these
everything.
were not good weights. Ohio never had good implements.
Everybody threw.
You had Harrison and
out of their mind.
Sean Betts and you and me and Carrie and
Ryan,
Larry Brock and Ryan and Greg Hadley was
there.
Numbers. Even Hadley was throwing numbers. But you just don't see that anymore. And I don't get it. It's the only sport I know of that's gone down as far as performance.
Right. Well, everything else has got, bigger and stronger people, which you probably do have. There's, I mean, you look at us and we were, probably what, 6'2", 285 average top 10 kind of guy. Like, dudes are fucking big now. You look at like Spencer and Dan and like, those dudes are big dudes, man. We just weren't. I mean, we were big guys, but not like that.
Yeah. We did and I know Dan and Spencer both have a pretty extensive track background too.
Yeah.
We didn't have that.
None
I had
at all.
High school track and field where I coached myself, and I was, out of the three of us, I had the most track background.
Yeah, I didn't touch a shot put until I was already a Highland Games pro. It was the first time I ever touched a shot put.
Chafin won Ohio last year.
What?
And he's like 70.
What?
Yeah, he won the Ohio Games last year.
Not the Masters class? The pro games?
The pro games, yep. Yeah.
Who was there?
Gillingham. Doug's always there. Doug's going to die on that field. Urquhart. I'm forgetting a ton of people.
Yeah, interesting. Well, good for Chapin, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the numbers were any good, though.
I think he threw 39 in the heavyweight. I think that was the big throw. And I tell you, when we were pros, you better not even think about turning pro unless you were throwing close to 40 feet.
Oh, yeah. If you couldn't, I mean, you'd get last. I mean, the games you went to.
Yep. Well, when I turned pro, I always talk about that, well, maybe like 3 or 4 years before I turned pro, the winning throw at the World Championships was 37 feet in the weight. And then Ryan came in and changed everything and took it up a notch, and everyone just chased him, and it changed all the numbers.
Well, it's that, once people know something's possible, then all of a sudden, I mean, I turned pro in 2003, and I threw 39 feet my last amateur game.
Yeah.
And I threw 40 my first pro game.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had thrown. But I mean, I was right on the and I was worried about going pro. Even then, and that was good then.
Yeah, I don't know, and I get accused of being a new pro hater, and I'm not, because the guys are fantastic. I just don't. I think between, I don't know. I don't know if it's it can't be the increased drug testing, because there's just not enough games.
There's so many games that you could go to without that, as an amateur, you have no worries about that.
Yeah.
So
I think Jane's doing it on her own at Celtic.
Oh, really?
I don't think they're associated with the IHGF.
it's, again, just a like why?
Why would
What do you get out of that?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
And you've got people who test there and then nothing, even go positive there and nothing ever happens, which is totally fine. But like,
Absolutely.
why are you bothering?
CrossFit Games
Yeah,
model.
like why do you bother?
I remember Dave Barron getting tested at Celtic and him freaking out because he had smoked a joint the night before. He's like, wait, what are you testing for? And they're like, no, don't worry, you're fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It bugs me to see the numbers go down. I'm always for, and like I said, I don't know if it's the drugs related or just they aren't as competitive or athletic.
I think this, like I said, I think it's not as deep as it used to be. Like there's not, I don't know who number 15 is right now, but they're probably not even close to winning any damn games kind of deal, whereas...
That's true, because when we broke up, when we would break up into groups...
Yeah.
Or guys would go over to Scotland or whatever, we would go to games, and, then we would win all the games over here, and they'd win all the games over here, and then we'd come together, and then it would be a real shootout. Yeah,
and we'd get together those at Celtic, at Detroit, at, those games where all of us ended up, but... the little games, the Canaan Valleys, then those kind of things. Like hey, is there enough? Or what? Pleasanton weekend. There's Pleasanton, Wisconsin. Robert. I don't know if you'd even know him.
I remember.
Yeah,
that was so
good dude.
awesome.
He pretty much just lets me and KO just run the show, which is the best way to.
That's what I let you do for Women's Worlds.
Yeah,
Here you go.
We know what we're doing.
Yep, run it. Other than my son almost getting hit with a hammer, it worked out pretty well.
But other than that, and judging and announcing in Glasgow, that's about the extent of my involvement anymore. I mean, I told KO I'd throw an Alma this year if he wanted to.
He's doing the Masters.
So yeah.
Who's running that now that Holly's gone?
Matt, her brother.
Oh, good. At least it's staying in the family.
Yeah, you should come throw with us if we do that.
Oh God, man, I don't even want to think about throwing weights.
I mean, I haven't picked. I threw Masters there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I had thrown anything in 2 years.
You never practiced anything.
I mean, it was Kerry still beat me. But.
We would get back from whatever Richmond or whatever was the last game of the year. You'd throw your bag in the trunk when we left Richmond, and you would pull it back out in May when it was time to throw again.
For Frederick.
Right?
Yep.
Frederick. Yeah, we used to go to Frederick.
Sometimes Locke.
Just to help Alex out, we would go to Frederick. There was no money there. It was so low. The money was so low.
Yeah.
Like 3, 4. They always said $300, but I think we always got like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
We always all said and done.
I'd like to. What? Alex is running Ohio still, right?
Yeah. You should come up.
I should come up.
She's doing a great job up there.
Well, I mean, if Chafin's winning, I'll come throw for money.
Maybe I'll come out of retirement.
There we go. Let's do it.
And then Steiger's going to die on that field. I'm telling you.
God.
He's never going to retire.
I mean, I guess if you enjoy it and you're still, making a couple dollars here and there or not, but if you like it, I have no problem with that. I mean, I paid a fucking mountain bike. You
I'm
paid
surprised you're not doing jiu-jitsu now or anything.
So my issue with that, because I did we used to do a bunch of sessions of like Muay Thai and just striking stuff and that. And my issue with rolling is I knew I'd get hurt. Is really what it comes down to.
I think it comes down to finding the right school. Now you're going to get hurt a little bit when you first start because you're not used to being in certain positions.
Right.
And but once you get into it for a few months, you start realizing, I'm not going to get into that position because I'll hurt myself.
Right.
The thing of it is, for me, was finding a guy who was older. So I looked at a couple schools when I started, and the one school I went to, Paul's school. Paul's 50-something, understands, why you're doing what you're doing, and how beat up I am, because he's all beat up. That school worked there. The other school I went to, I walked in. There's all these 20-some-year-old kids. I'm like, nope, I'm done. Yeah. I'm not even going to give it a shot because they'll try to kill you.
Yeah, I don't want any part of that. Like you're bigger and stronger than me. It's fine. Yep. You win. Kind of like I'm not.
And I don't let guys get me into bad positions. Someone puts me in an armbar and I know it's futile. I tap before they even get me there.
Yeah.
You know, what do I care? You know, This isn't a bar fight. You know.
No.
So but you should give it a shot. But you got to find the right
right
environment.
It just comes down to time wise too,
Yeah.
because I'm doing stuff every day kind of deal, and like we get into. I mean, we damn near bike, 3, 4, 5 times a week, and that's the week. I just don't have. When do I throw in?
That's true.
2 days. So
that's true.
Not to say that won't be the next thing, because who knows what'll be the next thing.
Keep that addiction machine rolling.
We got to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do something physical. I couldn't imagine doing nothing physical. It's just.
I love training every day.
Yeah.
And it's not an hour. It's 20 minutes.
And that's all it has to be.
40 minutes. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
But I think you hit the nail right on the head that you really can do anything and get better at this stuff. I would have swung more kettlebells when I was throwing because they make sense to me for throwers.
Hard to disagree with that.
I'm doing snatches. I've got him doing cleans and swings, and it just makes sense the way we were throwing. But yeah. Awesome. Well, I mean, so maybe come up for Ohio this year, and
I'd come up for
we'll
Ohio.
get together, do this again. We got to get Kerry back on too, the 3 of us.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll sit down and do a big one.
Maybe we can talk him to coming up, and we'll get Chafin on too, and do the 4 of us and confront him about the Pelican story.
Well, he's going to deny it. But...
Well, he's denying it I did a podcast with Kerry where we talked about the Pelican girl story, and he's denying it. He's saying,
Have you talked to Chafin lately?
I saw him in Ohio last year, so I did the announcing in Ohio, and I basically just sat around and broke balls all day long.
Did you?
Yep.
So you're doing jiu-jitsu 3 times a week?
3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
And you've been doing that how long now?
Since last weekend in February, so almost a year.
Okay.
Yeah, last week of February I started. I went in and talked to Paul, and I had Paul on the podcast before, and I said, hey, I'm really thinking about trying some grappling.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he goes, I'm on vacation, so come in next Tuesday. And I was like, if I wait till next Tuesday, I won't do this. So I go, is there a class tonight? He's like, yeah, they have an evening class. So I went in there, and it was all like blue belts and purple belts.
Right.
And they beat the crap
I'm sure they did.
And I'm an idiot because I only have Highland Games and Strongman t-shirts, so I walk in with like a Highland Games t-shirt on.
Right.
They're like, oh, okay,
you tough guy.
I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. So I left their bloody mouth, and I went home, and he sent me a text. He goes, how'd it go? I go, I'll be there tomorrow morning. So I went the next day, went that morning, and it was good after that. And I still go back to that evening class when I can because it's still filled with killers. But now at least they know that I'm not the new guy coming in and
completely thinking
them.
You're going to do something.
Yeah, I know I'm going to get beat up. So.
Aspirations to compete at all then in that, or no?
Aaron asked me that too. I said, I've competed enough.
Yeah.
I like the training. I like watching competitions, but I don't want to get into that position because I know where I am. I know if I start competing, I'm going to go balls out, and in a sport like that, I'm either going to win or I'm going to hurt myself.
Right.
So why even do it? I'm not going to, I don't want anything to do with it. We competed forever.
Yeah, nothing to prove at this
exactly.
point kind of deal. And
yep. It's just a new skill and something fun to do, and it's a new passion for me because now I can watch like a UFC match and see what's actually going on the ground. Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
And watching, I do it all in the gi, so that's better for me too because I got grips.
Yeah.
I'm heavy and I got grips.
Yeah.
And that works out great for me.
It'll be good fights this weekend.
Yes. That's is this John Jones this weekend?
Yep.
John Jones and Derek.
Dom Reyes.
Yeah. That should be good. I'm looking forward to Khabib and Tony in April.
March or April? Yeah.
April. Yep. That's going to be if that actually happens because it's been on and off
5 times.
Yeah.
5 times it's never happened. Yeah, and you've got Izzy and Yoel.
That's
in March, which is going to be fantastic.
Romero,
yeah. How can you not? What a freak.
Did you see his interview on Rogan where he was talking about how they did the wrestling system in Cuba?
No.
So the better you were, the better food you got.
I think I've heard him talk about that before. I didn't see that, but How crazy is that?
And
Like, oh, you're
they
good,
had to
so
hide
you eat good.
injuries because the other wrestlers would look at you and go, "Oh, he's got an injured hamstring. I'm going to go for his legs," And it was cutthroat, man.
That's bananas.
I love it. That's the kind of shit we don't do with athletes nowadays. I'm happy. What is your kid playing lacrosse?
So he's at Cincinnati. He's at UC, and he's a.
I didn't even know he's in college.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
he's a freshman at
Been that
UC,
long.
and he's playing D1 club ball. They have club ball there.
Shit.
So
That's awesome.
they're getting ready for their season. They're ranked 13th preseason.
Wow.
So D1 club ball is a pretty big,
Yeah.
pretty big deal. Like, he just sent me his schedule last week, and I mean, they go play Michigan, they go play at Louisville, they go play at Penn State, they go play at
That's
so,
awesome.
pretty
Yeah, Hayden's throwing.
How old's he now? What grade's he
He's
in?
14. He's a freshman.
Freshman now.
He's ranked, as of this moment, he's ranked 16th in the state in the weight throw.
Nice.
And top 24 go to states.
Oh,
And he's
sweet.
got 3 more competitions to come. But what's cool is, because of the circles we ran in, I sent out, he was practicing last night, and something clicked, and he started really throwing well. So I sent the video to Kibwe Johnson, Sean Donnelly, who are the 2 top hammer throwers in the country right now, and Luke McKay, who's the coach at Penn State. And I said, "What do you guys think?" And they all came back with, "Wow, this is good," and yada, yada, yada.
Oh,
And
that's
it's like,
awesome.
because of the circles we ran in, I can send videos out to the best guys in the world.
And
What
get
14-year-old
feedback.
kid gets that? You know?
None. So that's cool. So he'll go to state as a
Hopefully,
freshman. That's
he'll
pretty
go
cool.
to state as a freshman. Yeah, he's got a couple weeks for people to catch up to him, but hopefully, I don't think he's come close to throwing a big throw yet.
No,
he's got
it's in there.
He's throwing 44 feet. He's got a 50-footer in him. He just hasn't hit it right.
That's
You know.
awesome.
So yeah, I'm psyched for it. And
What about Luke? Luke's at Penn State.
Luke's at Penn State, man.
Okay.
I went and did a podcast with him a couple weeks ago, and I mean, Luke is Luke.
Yeah,
he's just awesome. He's
That's
just
pretty
an
cool.
awesome human. And we sat in his office and he made me coffee, and he's got the lights turned down low. He's got his salt lamp in the background, just still a hippie, And he's living in Happy Valley. He's loving it. He's got a kid now, and he's married.
Right on.
And
Good for him. Does he throw it all himself?
he says that
Because he's younger than
everyone's-
us, right? I mean, he's
not much,
No?
39.
Oh, is he really? Okay.
Yeah, which
Okay.
amazed me. I thought he was like
Yeah.
33,
That's what I was
34.
thinking. Yeah.
But he talks about he'll get into spurts where he wants to throw, and he'll go out and train a few times, and then something will come up, and he won't do it. But
Yeah.
he was one of those people in Highland games who, even when I was a dick and really had a bad attitude, I still loved.
Yeah. How could you not? I mean,
Yeah.
just what a genuine good dude.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
for sure.
realistically, when you look back at all the people we throw with, I mean, everybody was. There's nobody that
They
I
were. And I talk
really
about all the
disliked.
time, my attitude towards life in general has changed so much since I retired.
Yeah.
Because I really think that I fed off of, I used to tell you guys all the time, if I would have came back in the tent, you guys say nice throw, I hated that.
Right.
Oh, God, I just bust my balls.
Right.
And it was like, I remember not liking Zolkowitz because he was like the next guy I had to catch on that list.
Right.
And at the end of my throwing career, I said, why did I like Zolkowitz?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with Zolkowitz.
No, not at all.
It was me that there was shit wrong with, but that's how there was no positive vibes. I fed off that negativity.
And that's what made you throw.
That's what I had to use. And for me, if I didn't throw far, I needed the money.
Right.
Well, we all needed the money back then, but I needed that money and I wanted it, and it was more about the money than titles for sure. I didn't care. If I would have placed third at an event and made a whole lot of money, or first at a different event, I'd take third any day.
I never cared about that. That wasn't ever,
Well,
I think that's probably weird to some people who are competitors to see where we were and how competitive we were, and like none of that really mattered.
No.
I mean, it didn't.
You were on a road trip with your buddies every weekend for money.
We blew games so we didn't have to do the awards ceremony.
You used to do it to me at Alma all the time.
Yeah, like, hey, I can either wait here 2 hours and get a trophy,
Oh.
or get in the car and go home. Yeah, I'll take second. And I'm going home.
Poor Holly, rest in peace. I used to get so mad at her because we have to wait for 2 hours afterwards to get that stupid trophy. And we didn't want it. I don't know where any of my trophies are from throwing.
I have a closet in the house that's just full of them. That, like, I mean, I couldn't even tell you what's in there.
Yeah.
Like, it just
I
stacks.
gave
of
most of them away to my
swords
nieces
and cups
nephews
and all that kind of plaques and bowls and.
I gave away all the swords when we started having competitions.
Oh,
in the gym,
that's
I
smart.
started giving away
That's
swords.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do with this shit? Just give me the money. But yeah, that was definitely where we came from.
Yeah,
was
I've
that-
got. God, can't even. The metal, like the stainless, like mugs.
Yeah.
From Alma. I don't even know how many of those I got.
I think I may still have one of those. I think I keep my change in it.
Well,
I think it's on top of the
Yeah, that's a good
top of the
idea.
fireplace.
Mine are all just in boxes somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm ever going to do with that stuff. But
Yeah, but that was, I always talk about how I had a total change in attitude once I stopped throwing. Because it was just, I was always pissed off at people, because I wanted to win just because I wanted that money,
Yeah. Maybe that's why we like going with you so much.
Well, we were
Not that I was the most happy person, but like,
we were definitely the two most angry, aggressive people of our group.
But
Then you had those two idiots that we ran with.
Yeah, but my aggressiveness was very like, right at the time, and then it was gone. I'm okay with that.
I'll never forget when you almost killed that guy when he offered you a hot dog for breakfast.
see-
He just pointed at the hot dog machine.
That's the kind of shit that makes me so.
Is there anywhere for breakfast? That Arab guy just points to the hot dogs rolling in the machine.
So fucking
So
mad.
awesome.
I still struggle with
Yeah.
stupid people,
Yeah.
obviously. But what are you gonna do? I mean, that's
Yeah.
the general. You can't go out in the world
They're
and
everywhere.
not be angry all day if you're gonna have that attitude.
They're everywhere
So,
for sure. All right, let's shut this down. I got
Indeed.
a long ride home.
You
But
gotta
yeah,
get,
this
you gotta
summer-
get a cheeseburger before you go
Hell
here.
no. I'll wait to get home and have some nice steaks. But let's get together this summer, and we'll even get Chafin on there, and we will confront him about the Pelican
All right,
story.
yeah, we'll do a big one.
There's so many good Chafins. There's so many good stories in general we could tell about all of us that we would all be either fired or divorced or
We should probably prep and write a bunch of stuff down and go, yeah, you can talk about that, and no, you can't talk
Like
about
a
that.
veto list?
Yeah. Like, no, don't bring that up.
Carrie has vetoed the midget story.
How's that possible?
Every
Everybody
podcast.
knows it.
I know, but it upsets Mel, and because
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
I
you
can
got to
get that.
respect that.
You got to
Yeah,
respect
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But it's not like it makes him look good. It makes him look horrible. but
Yeah, and it's
funny.
hilarious is the thing.
And he's
So,
told it every game he's ever been at. He just won't tell it on the podcast because I think it'll go down in posterity if he'll be able to download that story.
Probably.
I have to figure out how to get him to tell that story.
You know what? We'll just record him when he doesn't know.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
He won't even know he's talking
No,
about it.
we'll get him started telling the story because he likes to tell
He
it
loves to tell that story.
because it is a fantastic story and the visuals and stuff that go along with
the
it.
midget story is better than the Pelican story.
Oh,
and
without
the
a
Pelican
doubt.
story is
without a doubt.
hysterical. And if you haven't heard the Pelican story, go back to I don't know what episode it was. It was from last year at the Swiss conference when me and Carrie had too many cocktails and told that one. But
Did you guys learn shit up there?
no,
Nah, that's what I figured.
Jim Wendler had a very good talk. I went and watched Kazmaier and Cohen do a seminar just because they were Kazmaier and
Sure,
Cohen, and
sure.
they were good. But I just can't listen to people talk about strength and conditioning anymore.
There's just not anything to learn, really.
It's all out there.
You can get whatever you want, find whatever you want, learn whatever you want.
Lift heavy,
Do your
press,
homework.
squat, deadlift something heavy every week.
If you're small
10
and weak,
years.
spend 10 minutes on the internet and learn how to do it.
Yep.
It's not that hard.
Get yourself some testosterone.
That too.
All right. This has been Craig Smith. This is the Refined Savage. See ya.